Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. We have the president of Mexico, Mr. Obrador, and he makes a statement regarding the U.S. spending in Ukraine, and he calls that irrational. And he's going to contrast that support for Ukraine with the U.S.'s support for, or support, rather not support, attack on Venezuela and Cuba. Well, let's discuss how irrational this U.S. spending on Ukraine is. Could be irrational from a point on, but I think up to that point is very rational. So let's start with this article coming from Reuters. And it says, Mexico president slams U.S. spending on Ukraine as quote-unquote irrational. This is 4 hours ago. Today is what? The 2nd of October, 2023. Let's see what arguments he brings. Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador on Monday panned U.S. military spending on Ukraine as quote-unquote irrational, stepping up criticism of the war effort as he urged Washington to devote more resources to helping Latin American countries. Well, you know, Washington's help, meaning that's going to take 10 times it gave, all right? So Obrador, don't say that. López Obrador has long called on the United States to devote more funds to helping economic development in Central America and the Caribbean in order to ease migratory pressure. Not by giving them money. You have to change a certain kind of way of doing things. Remember the good book? The good book, don't lie. Don't give them fish if they're hungry. Teach them how to fish. The same thing, Obrador. Don't give them help, because that money is going to go to the corrupt garbage. Don't do that. Anyway, during his regular, and the same, you're going to give them money just to stop the invasion? That's what it is? Don't do that. You have to change the whole structure. Start from the zero again. During his regular daily press conference, López Obrador criticized the U.S. Congress for not freeing up money for the region before making references to wrangling last week on a stopgap funding bill that stripped out further aid for Ukraine. And I'm quoting, I was just looking at how now they're not authorizing aid for the war in Ukraine, end quote, he said, and I'm quoting, but how much have they destined for the Ukraine war? 30 to 50 billion for the year? Which is the most irrational thing you can have, and damaging. Now, let's go to this one right here. San Diego Union Tribune, it's from 3 days ago. Mexico's president slams U.S. aid for Ukraine and sanctions on Venezuela and Cuba. So if he's right with, about the sanctions on Venezuela and Cuba, let's see the irrationality of this article, or whatever he said here. Okay, so the United States is not doing this in an irrational way. The United States has plans, and Mr. Obrador should know that, and probably he does, but he's looking for his own interest, his own little portion, and that's South America, supposedly, and he needs some money. Now, I don't like that if I think of it globally, because he's thinking, just me, I don't care what's going on over there. Well, your turn will come, and then what? It's going to be too late. So if these guys, United States of America, with their little plan and scheming, take care of Russia in Ukraine, then it's going to be China, and then it's going to be everybody else. It's not going to be anybody else to protect you, Obrador. You can say, oh, we're independent. You're not independent. If the Americans are tolerating you, that's the word, tolerating you. If they want tomorrow to do something to you and to your country, they can do it, but they don't want to deal with it. They want it away. Stay there. Don't come over here. Stay there. You can talk smack, but don't be too loud, because I'm gonna you. Right? So this is with Obrador. I'm not saying this to insult anybody, but militarily, economically, however you want to put it, Mexico could be slapped by Al Capone easily. And you have borders, you're next door, so you don't have to go across Atlantic or Pacific. So, okay, if tomorrow the Americans are sending a few commandos inside Mexico, I guarantee you that these guys will not do anything. And if they do something, the Americans are going to say, we were doing something good and you guys attack us. Charge. And guess who's going to win? But then they're smarter than that. Anyway, these guys are weasel, more sneaky than that. So let's say how irrational it is. United States right now is in a position, all rational. Everything it did was rational. Have these guys fight, try to destroy those guys that we want them destroyed. We're going to give them weapons. Our fat cats, donors, military-industrial complex, will get money, will get fatter. The banks will do that. The intelligence community and, as I said, the military, the guys really in charge that are left over there. Because without these two, without the military-industrial complex, which is the military and the other guys around, plus the intelligence community, the big interest will mean zero. Almost zero. They work through these guys on the politicians and the mass media, and then eventually on us. That's how it goes. Big interest, economic, financial, banking. Then after that it goes the military and the guys with guns. And then you have the politicians supposedly helped. The politicians know exactly what they have to say, and if they don't, they're going to lose elections. And then you have the mass media who's owned by the same guys, and they say whatever the politicians say, and they ignore this and they promote that. And it's us. Supposedly, we're voting and we have a say. Really? Okay. All right. Good. If you want to think that way, great job. Great job. I'm just kidding. So, they're very rational about it. They're winning. The ones that have to win, they're winning a lot. Now, where they become irrational, I would say continuing doing the same thing, look from a different perspective, and getting the same results, which is Russia is not collapsing. But you make money. That's why they will continue doing the irrational thing. Irrational thing being doing the same thing and, expecting a different outcome. And so far, a year and a half, nothing. But the problem is we missed the point. Remember when it was that tard, what's his name, George W. Bush II, Jesus Christ. He was Yale educated and Harvard educated. So remember, Ivy League schools. So that's why when someone tells me, I graduated, yeah, why don't you open your mouth? Let me ask you 2 questions. And it's also no more than 2 questions, 5 minutes. And I know if you have something or you don't have anything. If you're a Bush and a Biden, not a Biden, what's his name, Obama, or you're a person who really knows something. So you remember when that guy did all kind of garbage and he said that, we didn't know if we worked on the information we got then from the intelligence community and we invaded and destroyed 2 countries. We did the right thing and all that. And I was thinking, I was having a conversation with someone, and during a conversation, we asked ourselves, man, this guy is a dumbass. He makes all the mistakes, mistake after mistake, getting this country in the war, bombarding those. And we reached the conclusion, actually, no. I think he's doing all the right things he's supposed to do for them. Not for us, but since we thought that we are all together, it sounded, oh my God, that was a mistake to invade Iraq and Afghanistan. It was a mistake to send money to Ukraine and all that. And no, it was not. From our perspective, as the losers, as the slaves or the plantation slaves, the modern slaves, it was a mistake. For them, no. For them, it was not. Because our interests do not coincide. Okay, let's put it this way. So it's irrational from our point of view, but from their point of view, it's very rational. So Mr. Obrador says and doesn't say. And besides, United States cannot pull out of that with a loss. So they have to get out and claim that they won. And the same with the Russians. In this war, no one will claim they lost, regardless what the outcome. I mean, only in one outcome. the Russians will lose. If the Russia is destroyed and these guys take over, really, like Putin and about 300 other people around him are gone, Medvedev and this and that, they're gone, and these guys take over and they control it, like they control Germany, for instance, then they're going to be clearly in the schools, you guys lost, Ukraine beat you. That's going to build a lot of guilt, and then they will do what that guy in 1939 did. Because they're going to be people like that. What do you mean? So don't insult them, don't hurt them too much, because they will react and they will smack you with nuclear weapons. Anyway, so only in that case we're going to have one winner, and we have one loser. Otherwise, they will both claim victory. Now, the Americans they already know. Al Capone knows how will finish, how will end, how all this will end if the Russians don't collapse. How would figure a way, channel the whole thing to a certain way that it will not show as it lost, the empire lost, or was weak. No, it's going to be something they're going to show up and say, in the name of good, too many people died, man. Man, come on, man, stop. You kids, stop. Too many people died, and you Russians are bad, but we have to stop in the name of humanity. And I'm going to be the peacemaker right here. What? In the Ukrainians there, you tried, nice try, but you have to accept the life sometimes is hard. They're going to pull all the garbage from their asses that they usually pull out, and they're going to say, well, they're going to be the peacemakers. They're going to be the saints. When actually, 2014, coup d'etat. And not only. Come on, I mean, and they will say we were the good peacemakers, and these guys are bad. We have to live with this. You can't always solve problems. Life is gray. All of a sudden, it's not between evil and good. It's going to be between it's a little bit of gray sometimes. You'll see. You will see. You'll see me here if we're still alive by then, or some of us are still alive by then. Not implying anything. Thank you very much for being with me again today. So I think it's very irrational for them, irrational for us. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.